Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Normalized Money Show. I have Julie here, aka J Gunfire, and we are going to jump right into the video for this week. So let's listen to that.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. The Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
This world has changed and I had to accept it. They ask my political views while I search for their hidden agendas. I don't got an answer, I try to remember the devil divides. Pressure appears from our peers. Those arguments waste our time while helping to push their lies, so fuck political views. I got common sense. I know God made man, and the sun sets on a life where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead. So I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt, 45 years can't pay rent, 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I wake up and pray that it ends.
So Julie, here we are. We're trying to keep our videos shorter, right? 10 to 15 minutes. And we're listening to these songs. And what do you think so far of this particular song? You know, Oliver Anthony has gotten a lot of feedback on this song. And now we have Dax commenting. And what do you think about this whole idea of 45 years until you get to use your pension?
Yeah, I find this is as a rap song, right? I mean, it's very interesting that he's basically going into the whole thing where he's, it feels like he's enslaved to other people, that he's referring to rich people, and that, we basically work all this time and we're supposed to be getting this money in return for the work that we did. And I just feel like, he's definitely, down on life, in the sense that he's gotta work, he's gotta pay the rent, but even though he does all that, he still can't do it. And I think, when we talk about on our show about investing and giving back, and we talk about a whole bunch of different things, is that, his point is, I've got this money and now I'm too old to spend it. I've just done all this work this whole time, and now I can't enjoy anything because I've had to keep paying all these bills and all these things all my life. That, there's a fine line there that, I think having the education and having that financial information when you're younger makes you more successful, in the sense that you won't have this type of, situation when you get our age, younger.
Yeah. We always are trying to get the younger generations to listen, right? And they're so busy doing whatever it is that they're doing. But right now is their golden goose egg where they get to pick how their life is going to go. And so they might have a vision for themselves. And I know I just turned 40 this year. And it's kind of like things physically are catching up with me that I didn't expect, because I was a varsity gymnast. And when I hear that lyric of getting too old to spend it or to enjoy it, something along those lines, that's kind of how I feel after working for 25 years or more. And I still have another 25 years to go before I'm even 65. So let's keep listening.
Okay.
In the new world with an whole soul. The Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Descendants of Adam and Eve, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're taking God out the schools. Our kids don't know what to believe. from 6 to 18. The curriculum fails and Gen Z gets taught by their phones with forced feeds that get sponsored and paid by companies. That's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes, drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content we're creating, lies diluting our brains. I'm done trying to argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take?
Okay, I just want to stop right there because
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And when our oldest son turned 13 in the state of California, I was no longer able to have access to his medical records. I still can't have access to them. I can't believe this. They actually, in the state of California, when he turned 13, they took me off of his medical records. And I was, one, that stonewalled me from, you know, pulling like previous vaccine reports just to give to the schools or physicals to give to his sporting activities. So I all of a sudden had these kinds of weird hurdles that I didn't even know that was going to happen. And then also when I took him to his appointment to go into high school, they asked him if it was okay for me to go in the room. And I was kind of shocked by the fact that they would ask my 13-year-old child if they've obviously, meaning the professionals, have been given some kind of directive, political directives, to give a 13-year-old more weight to his medical decisions than a 35-year-old parent.
But you're forgetting the most important thing there.
What?
Who's paying the bill? You're paying that bill. And up until the age of 26 nowadays, because if you have health insurance on your kids and they're in school, you're paying through college now, where, you know, a lot of kids, when I went to college, nobody paid my medical bills. Nobody paid my medical insurance. I was only allowed to be on my parents' medical insurance up until probably 18. And now it's like they have the right to do this at the age of 13, but we pay their insurance until they're 26.
And you're right. I do pay for his insurance. And you know what's interesting is being self-employed, we go through just a broker who goes through whatever outlets are available. And sometimes that ends up being government affiliated, not because we choose that, but because we don't have a choice. Because under age 18, they'll say, well, you and your husband can, even though you all have the same coverage, the person who's going to pay for the under age 18 will be so-and-so, which is probably government affiliated, and some kind of like, I don't even know why they do this, like separation of funds. And then my husband and I will have something else. And so that is just very peculiar and unnecessary. I get that we want humans to have a voice and choice, and 13 years old can be a point for people or children where they're like, you know, I kind of want to find my own way. However, they don't have enough.
So think about all the stuff that he talked about. Remember, we talked about that's a lot. I mean, he's talking about all the things that we're pushing at our kids. Now, I can't say that we're personally pushing them, but as a society, we have phones in our hands all the time. We have commercials thrown at us every second, and we have the ability to be, you know, guided by what information we get from the news. And that, you know, we have, you know, we're just talking about one small part, and that's you being able to, you know, still you're responsible for your child. And we're looking at, you want to look at the law side of it. The law side of it says you're responsible for your child until they're 18. And I mean, technically 17, they can be charged as an adult, but you're still, as a parent, responsible for your child up until their age of 18. But they're separating those healthcare, you know, criminal, those kind of things. And yeah, I mean, what are we teaching our kids?
Well, and also, I think there's the whole, he mentioned there, what is someone else? What are we allowing someone else to teach our kids? And so I know I'm busy working, doing things at work to try and make money with the foundation and other things. And I trust the teachers. And yet, do the teachers have control over the content and the books and the material that they are teaching to my child? Because let's just say that my 13-year-old or 15-year-old does get a sex change or something along those lines. And then there are some mental, what if at 17, he or she is now grown out of that belief and now they are, I don't know, acting out in a criminal fashion because they're not being heard. So many layers to that, but let's finish this out.
To have a life worth living, an actual comfortable wage, no more school shootings, let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an old soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control.
So, Julie, I just want to add a few comments here from other people before you wrap this up. The original song of this by Oliver Anthony is amazing. I would encourage everyone to go listen to it. And Donda, it says Donda 1105, 2 weeks ago, her comment was, I'm a Black woman born and raised in Detroit. There is nothing right-wing or racist about this song. And every time I hear an interview with this man referring to Oliver Anthony, or he's just talking to the camera, he's always talking about inclusiveness with everyone. If anyone hears racism in this song, they're a racist, clearly. My music playlist is full of rap in this one song. Imagine when my song switches from Cardi B to this. My friends are like, WTF is this? And when the song is switched, I say, just listen to it. And they actually listen to it, and now it's on their playlist. I've added more of his songs to my playlist, and we are now fans. Give this man his flowers now. Stop trying to make everything about race. These songs should speak to anyone that are struggling. Thank you, Oliver. Let's go have a beer and a bowl together. So that's right. Those are the people, which is what, 99% of us, maybe 90% of us. So anyhow, what's your final takeaway on this?
Well, my final takeaway is that we're getting pushed in a direction, whether it's from ads, whether it's from what we see on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, all that. We're getting pushed in the direction that is making people money, but it's not the middle class. And I think there's finally been an awakening from the middle class saying, what you guys can't do this to us anymore. And when that gets back to the, powers that be, I guess you would call them, then it becomes a push for, the racism thing. And that's where anywhere that the news can grab onto a racism, whether it's usually a law enforcement related type incident where they can say, this was racially motivated. And there are exceptions. There are a few people that will actually admit that and be loud and proud about it. And they are, completely wrong. But I think that most people, when it comes out, like something like this, and they actually do listen to the lyrics and they hear what this person is saying, that they could do nothing but, say, yeah, this is what is actually happening. And we need to speak up about it, and we need to not let it affect us. And, I think you and I are out here trying to get this, word out that, there are things that you should know about that they're not teaching you in school, that they, historically you would think with all the information that's out there about financial literacy that we would be teaching this to our kids in our schools, but we're not. And this is just something that we can do as a society to lift that hand to the person below us and bring them up. And if it's information and tips that you and I can give here, I think that we're doing our part.
So on that note, please, if you are a parent watching, or if you're in a position to have some of your teenagers listen to this, 15 minutes a week, listen to a song, listen to some of these comments, and also comment below. This is not just for us to be talking. We read these comments. Other people in our circles read these comments. We do respond. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time.